Hello and welcome. My name's Sarah McLean. It is Cinco de Mayo 2021, and I'm so glad you're here. So today I thought we would talk a little bit about waking up and welcoming everything. I'm pretty involved with some community groups here. It's kind of a new experience for me here in Santa Barbara, even though I've lived here now for 2 years. The first year I was traveling most of the time, and this last year, of course, I've been sequestered. I've been hanging out with a lot of you on a daily basis, but I haven't really met my neighbors. So I get a chance to meet with some of them today. And, everybody has a different opinion about vaccines and masking. And if you know anything about California, we're pretty conservative when it comes to being not locked down. We're pretty conservative. Everybody wears a mask all the time. We're not even opening as a full experience of life until June 15th. So there's certainly factions of people who are ready to open their businesses, like it'd be nice to open our meditation center, and people who are still very fearful. And one thing I noticed is, because I've been in this world of meditation with you, is that I'm really, I can see all sides. I can see all sides. I can honor people's desires for masking and unmasking and vaccinating and not vaccinating. And what I recognize is, I was in this group last night who they want to take masks out of the schools. And unfortunately, they label people like, these are the people who are woke, or these are the people who are conservative, or these are the people who are liberal, or these are the people who are Christian, and these are the people who are not Christian, and these are the people who want masks, and these are the people who don't want masks, and these are the people who are Black Lives Matter, and these are the people who want full-term abortions. And this is what I'm listening to in my effort to create some balance. So for me, it was such a wake-up call, because I'm really of the mindset that I am on your team, you are on my team, we're on the same team. We're on the same team. We have so much common humanity. Each one of us wants to work and have a livelihood and have a meaningful life and have friends and be kind to each other. And that's my religion. The Dalai Lama is going to be coming here to the University of California, Santa Barbara, which I can see from my window. And he's going to be talking about that and creating hope. So I wanted to talk a little bit about having the attitude of we. I think it was, who was it? Dan Siegel talks about MWE, MWE, like having the attitude of me and you is MWE. So having that as an attitude today, seeing everyone as, even though they may have a different ilk in terms of their way they vote or see the world, just to really focus on the common humanity, really focus on being on the same team, eliminating the tribal qualities that can be really part of the lower brainstem, and seeing everyone in the same common humanity. So I woke up, of course, thinking about this, and then this poem came, because I was thinking, I'm not going to these meetings anymore. I've been pigeonholed into this group, and I'm not that group. I don't take on the qualities of that particular group. So I was really feeling unseen and excluded. And it was a really good learning. I spent the morning thinking about it and really spending a lot of time just looking at how I do it. Because if someone's doing it out there, I can be sure it's me. I'm doing it too. So I'm committed to we today. And I wanted to share this poem by Rumi, a 13th century Sufi mystic. You know him. He's been translated by many people, Daniel Ladinsky and Coleman Barks. But his work is, he was falling in love with God, to put it simply. And he said, this being human is a guest house. Every morning, a new arrival, a joy, a depression, a meanness. Some momentary awareness comes as an unexpected visitor. Welcome and then entertain them all, even if they're a crowd of sorrows who violently sweep your house empty of its furniture. Still treat each guest honorably. He may be clearing you out for some new delight. The dark thoughts, the shame, the malice, meet them at the door laughing and invite them in. Be grateful for whomever comes, because each has been sent as a guide from beyond. So that's feeling excluded for me or projected upon was a really beautiful awakening for me today, even though I've studied it and explored it many, many times. Every time it's a new experience. And I don't know what's going on for you in your world and what's being projected on you or what you're projecting on others, but let's make a commitment, at least in my world, let's make a commitment to hold space for people to have their opinions and not to forget our common humanity as we all struggle to find peace in this moment. So let's talk about mindfulness, shall we? Mindfulness is a beautiful way to maintain a present moment awareness. A woman came up to me in the middle of the meeting last night and she started to cry because she and her husband see things completely differently. And she tends to be having a big struggle because, and I don't know if you have this at home, sometimes it's about religion, sometimes it's about politics, sometimes it's about the government. I don't know what's going on in your world. Maybe it's with a friend or another family member, but she's just started to cry. And, there's really nothing I could do except stand there and bear witness to her tears and her sadness. And I got a text from her this morning that thanked me for that bearing witness. And that's what we can do for each other. We can see each other in our wholeness. We can be present for each other. And we can be present for ourselves. And that's what mindfulness is. So mindfulness means paying attention on purpose in a particular way with kindness, gentleness, and refraining from judgment or pigeonholing people as different, right? So I want to invite us today to practice one of the go-to mindfulness practices. Last week, I think we did a body awareness practice. And this week, we'll do a breath awareness practice. So remember, mindfulness is about being present. The practice, the formal practice of mindfulness could be a 10-minute practice or a 20-minute practice of seated meditation or seated mindfulness. There are three go-to practices in the mindfulness world. One is body awareness, bearing witness to the conversation your body is having with you. One is breath awareness, paying attention to this moment by anchoring your attention to the movement of the breath, recognizing that the breath is as it is, that it doesn't have to be a particular way, that it doesn't have to comply with what you think it should be. And bearing witness to the sensation. And anytime the mind travels into the past or the future, is to come back here again and again and again, and refraining from judgment. Just keep coming back. So thank you for keeping on coming back. And let's get comfortable, shall we? With meditation, the key is comfort. Ideally, you're sitting upright. You don't have to sit perfectly straight, but it's nice to be perpendicular to the earth's surface in whatever way. There's something energetic about it. Oftentimes when you're lying down too, it can turn into a nap, which is not mindful because your consciousness has gone into a dull state. Albeit restful, it's not meditation. So we're sitting comfortably, and throughout this practice, you can keep your eyes open. That's an advanced technique. You can close them, which I find to be easier. Or if you want to, you can gaze downward toward the floor. Now during this practice, you can shift your posture, you can move, you can scratch an itch, you can open your eyes and look around, and then close them again. So the practice is to keep on coming back right to this moment. This moment right here, right now, is when your life is actually taking place. This is it. This is it right here. And what is in this moment? Your body, your breath, the sensory information coming in through your eyes, your ears, your taste buds, your olfactory sensations, and the sensations through your skin. Also, what may be here right now are your emotions. So I'm going to invite you to close your eyes or gaze downward and bring your attention inward. Bring your attention inward. Noticing what is here right now. I invite you to take some deeper breaths and notice the way the body fills and empties the air in your lungs. Throughout this practice, you know that thoughts are okay. Be kind to yourself. And there's no particular experience that you should be having other than the one you're having. After a few long, slow, deep breaths, you can return your attention and your breath to its natural rhythm and depth. This is not a practice in exercising the breath now. We're simply going to use the breath as an anchor for our practice. And as you turn your attention to the breath, you may notice that you're a little more aware of the sounds in the environment, that they start to charm you, or you might be charmed by a physical sensation that you hadn't noticed. So for the next minute or two, begin to welcome everything that charms your attention away from your breath, whether it's your thoughts, your emotions, your sensations, and welcome everything, just like welcoming the guests in the guest house. Refraining from judgment. You might notice there are some areas in your body that are tight or tense. Invite them to loosen and relax. You might notice there are sounds that are charming your attention. Instead of judging them as good or bad or pleasant or unpleasant, simply welcome everything, bearing witness to the sounds, the sensations. You might notice there's some mental activity. Simply notice the way the thoughts come and go without trying to stop them in any way. And you might notice there are some emotions that are present. Welcome them all. Hold space for everything you are experiencing in this moment. And let's now become mindful of the breath. Noticing the sensations, the subtle, the gross, the way the body responds to the breath, the sensations of the breath moving in and out of your nostrils into your lungs. As you pay attention to the breath, you might notice that it changes. It might get deeper or shallower or faster or slower. That's what attention can do. It can affect that which you pay attention to. Simply notice it. Now paying particular attention to the inhale and the exhale and the pauses in between. There's no particular feeling you should be having other than what you're feeling right now. Letting the breath be as it is, letting this moment be as it is. Whenever you notice your time traveling into another moment, bring your attention back here, anchoring it to the breath, which is happening now. Refraining from judgment, being kind to yourself. You might silently say to yourself, I am aware I am breathing in, and I am aware I am breathing out. Or simply in on the inhale and out as you exhale. We're going to continue this practice for a little while, and I'll keep track of the time. You're doing it correctly as long as you're not trying too hard. You're letting go of expectations about what should be happening. So keeping your eyes closed, simply sit in the stillness now, welcoming everything once again, the sensations, the sounds, the thoughts, the emotions, what's ever going on right here, right now. Opening the awareness to include everything. And as a practice in this moment, I invite you to practice loving what is in this moment. Loving what is in this moment. When the mind says, yeah, but, just come back to loving what is in this moment. You can begin to deepen your breath as we come out of the meditation, keeping the eyes closed as long as you like. Perhaps you become more aware of the sounds far, far away, or of the movements in the body, whether you're making them or they're happening on their own. And when you do feel like opening your eyes, do it slowly. Practice taking your time, moving from stillness to activity, maintaining the experience or the way of being that you have with your eyes closed. That's the reason we practice, is so that when our eyes are open, we can see the world with that bearing witness, with loving everything as it is, at least a little bit. I like to close this meditation by bowing to the love that lives through you as you, that lives through me as me, and lives through every single one of us, whether we know it or not, and calls each one of us forth to live our greatest life. So thank you for joining me today. I wrote on my Facebook page a meme, which I mean, which said, I love you no matter what you say or do. Nothing you can say or do is ever going to help, ever going to make me stop loving you. Nothing you could say or do is ever going to make me stop loving you. And that's a big reach for everyone, I imagine. But I said it because there was a man, and I think I shared a little bit about this, but there was a man that retired from the military, highly decorated, one of the most highly decorated people in the United States. And he has moral injury, which means he went against his own internal integrity as part of his job, which some of us do from time to time. And he just came to meditation. He's been coming now for a while, and he struggles with his past. He struggles with it. And every time he opens his eyes and he talks about it, he says it like, you're going to not like this about me. And I assured him one day, it was like it was I don't want to use the word channel, but it came from me. It's like, there is nothing you can say or do to make me stop loving you. And in that moment, it was like this electricity in my body and in his body. And he knew, and I knew that was true. And I don't know the extent of his experience, nor do I know the extent of anyone's experience. But on the fundamental level, living into that phrase for me has been a big, big lesson. So if that feels like something you want to try on, I invite you to do it. It may go against your integrity. I don't want you to do that. But what would it be like if that were true? What would it be like if that were true, that nothing anyone could say or do would keep me from loving your common humanity, loving who you are, if I see you as love? Anyway, it's a big practice. I'm still struggling with it. I'm going to go ahead and unmute, or let you unmute yourself if anyone wants to share how you're doing, if you had any comments or questions about the practice.
Namaste, Sarah.
Hi Shama.
Hi. Yeah, no, amazing. I mean, when I was meditating with you, it took me right back. I was reliving again last year when we all, were alone together, and then it continued. And I find that I only have to sit in a particular place and close my eyes, and I'm transported back to that wonderful feeling. And I want to thank you for that, because it gets me through difficult periods in my day. And I know that you can find peace just within yourself if you look within yourself in a very simple way. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Shama. Yeah, I mean, the sanctuary is inside. That's what Rumi also says.
Yeah.
And I think that this regular practice, it does inform the rest of our lives. I mean, we practice because it feels good, but then when our eyes are open, that's when the practice really begins.
Yeah. And I think you've helped a lot of people find a sanctuary within themselves. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Would anyone else like to share? How are you doing in there?
I'll do something.
Hi, Sandra.
Hi
Good
there.
to see you. Hi.
Nice to see everybody. Over the last couple of weeks, I normally have to do guided meditation off a CD or whatever. That's kind of my go-to, because I don't know what to do with myself. But I find over the last couple of weeks, I've completely changed over to silent meditation for 30 minutes in the morning and at night. And it's just been incredible. I never thought, and now I actually get up early. I look forward to doing it. Before it was like, okay, something to do, brush your teeth, meditate, and now it's just, anyway, it's been wonderful.
Yeah, because at a certain point, once we smooth out the edges, I think, and as a community, that's what we do. We smooth out the edges in each other, and that's what the community of the humanity, really. But I think that once we start to trust that internal journey, it becomes pretty easy and nourishing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, I'm glad to hear it, Sandra.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. If you want to share, you have to unmute yourself, because I can't see if you're wanting to share. So thank you, Sandra, for sharing. Anyone else like to share how it was for you? Meditation, how you're feeling now? Any challenges? Anyone fall asleep or have a lot of distracting thoughts? Or was there something unpleasant? And it's okay. It happens to all of us. I've had some really uncomfortable meditations where all I can do is think about my to-do list, or I have some anger come up, or any of that. We'll talk about that next week.
I'd like to share.
Hey, Shannon. Hi.
Hi. So I've had quite the week. I started moving a week ago, and actually I'm in my new house right now, and it's been one heck of a week. And this meditation, I was almost sleeping because I haven't been sleeping, because I've been moving. But I really like what I had said about loving, because the guys that moved me are giving me a hard time right now for something, and I don't feel very loving towards them. So it's, the humanity, though. I mean, seriously, because, they have their own thing going on. So to see that, the commonality.
Yep, that's as part of self-compassion, one thing we need to recognize is this common humanity, And when we look at inclusivity, to include somebody else, I have to see people as individuals rather than as a representative of a collective group, because there's no such thing. I was brought up with me or us and them. I was brought up with being really adverse to everybody that wasn't like us, whatever that us was. And so the big relief that I had as a young adult was recognizing there is no them. It's just always I and thou. It's always I and thou. It's that. There is no them out there. It's just an imaginary thing. So yeah. And so looking for the common humanity and also in ourselves, that what we're experiencing isn't unique. That when we're sad or feeling lonely or feeling put upon or feeling excluded, that's not unique either. That's common humanity. Everybody has gone through that. Even though it may not be the same as yours, I've had the same feelings. I was thinking about that today too. Thank you, Shannon. Well, I hope you settle in. Yeah. Anyone else care to share how you're doing?
Sarah?
Yes, hi.
Hi, it's Juliet.
Hi, Juliet.
Hi. I don't do real well talking in front of everybody, and I appreciate you and what you do. I just want to share this with you because I think it's kind of funny. My cat takes my meditation pillow, and always as we meditate, she snores. And I just think it's funny. She loves to meditate with us. So, and I hope your kitty's doing well. And thank you, Sarah, for everything you do and helping us bridge this gap between everybody. It's a big one right now. So thank you. Oh, you're muted.
Thank you. It does seem to get a little bigger as we're all moving toward what would maybe be the new normal. There's such a divide, and some people call it the race to the bottom of the brainstem, creating the stress in people's nervous systems from all the bad news that is constantly coming at us. And our big journey is to go from the bottom of the brainstem to the neocortex, the executive function of the brain, to see things in a bigger, more humanitarian, compassionate way. But, we've all been trained now for the past year and a half to be freaked out. I mean, I don't know who it's benefiting, but not me or you. And so that is our big journey. And we know there is neuroplasticity in the brain. We know that what we pay attention to can create these neuronal pathways. And we also know that that's malleable. And so our job now, I think, is to make that executive decision to be in charge of what we pay attention to and let the CEO of the brain overtake the limbic system, which is freaked out and ready to protect itself at all costs. So that is our journey, and meditation is a great companion on that journey, for sure. Yeah. And anyone else? Oh, yes. Hey, hi, Pamela.
Hey, I loved how you started the whole session today, and your conversation was just so real. I mean, it was kind of like what's trending now, right? It's like everywhere. And I won't say I struggle, but I do strive to try to find the equanimity between groups that I had a situation Monday night. I lead a small meditation class of it's a 55 and up community. And they're happy people, they're retired, but as soon as something is said about, wearing a mask or not wearing a mask, or why wouldn't you get a vaccine and that sort of thing. And I try to softly shut that down by just changing the subject and kind of get people moving in another direction. Something like, wow, Janice, I saw your garden yesterday as I was walking by. It was beautiful, and then they'll start talking about their flowers. But that is something that meditation has really helped me to see. It has brought clarity to, and then I always think, well, did I act that way or am I acting that way? Like am I projecting that, So it's a hard thing to think. You don't want to think bad about yourself. You want to be kind, right? So a belief is something that obviously you believe, but it's so deep rooted that sometimes it comes out of your mouth without even thinking about it, right? And finding that spot to just kind of be still and stay quiet, even though your mouth wants to do something else, is the best thing about meditation and today. So what you said was really moving.
Oh, thank you. Well, it requires, I've been writing this curriculum on, I'm just going to say, implicit bias. So I'm biased in general, and prejudice and racism and all of that. And, I thought, well, I'm not racist or biased. But what I think you just said, and what I experience, is that the deeper I look and the more that it's vibing out there, the more I can see it in myself. So self-compassion is essential for recognizing the ways in which we do what we are bothered by. And so this whole journey requires kindness. This whole journey requires gentleness towards ourselves and mindfulness, which that is a particular way of paying attention on purpose, with gentleness, refraining from judging ourselves or everybody else, bearing witness to what's really happening. And yes, keeping peace is good. And also, if you feel comfortable when that kind of divisiveness happens, is maybe to say, I know we can't agree necessarily on this, and I know each one of us has our opinion, but let's agree to disagree for now. And let's agree on creating harmony in this space.
That's
So
a
to
great
pretend
idea.
it's not happening is probably going to be a little bit, it'll backfire at some point. So just
Right.
saying, I know that we don't agree, and I appreciate everybody's point of view, and we're not here to debate this right now. I don't know, whatever your mission is as your group. I'm going to stop.
Yeah, I'm
recording.
a straight shooter. So I think that I wasn't hitting it straight that night. Because I'd say, look, guys, come on, we're here to meditate, and we all have different feelings about things, and let's go find the love, because that's the kind of thing that I would say and they would expect from me. But I was a little scared didn't want to cause a rift, So
Yeah, I think it is scary. As I know some of your teachers in training, it can be scary to address what's in the elephant in the room, but we can do it in a way, and I think it just takes practice. I still feel like I'm so clunky at it, but yeah, thank you for sharing that. I'm going to stop recording now.